Hello and welcome to the next episode of Offshore 101. Got a great treat for you this time because we've got two guests in the show. Stephen Atcheler, of course. Stephen, no stranger to us. He is the anchor for this show. He's just asked me to make a special introduction because I know our special guest, Joanne Oliveri, and Jo has been a friend of mine for many, many years and one of the most talented people in property management. Jo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great to be here and good to see you again.
Good to see you too. And let's bring in our regular Stephen Atcheler. Hello, young man.
G'day, good to see you again, Kev. It's been a little while since you've been back on the show, so we thought we'll bring you back in because we need those good looks.
Yeah, we'll bring the old fella back. So it's always good to be back with you guys. You make me feel young. Hey, tell me, Jo, let's go to you first. Tell me a little bit of, not me, but all of our viewers, a little bit about your history.
Well, kind of like in a nutshell, my focus is on the business of property management. I've recently returned from California. I've been working over there for almost 3 years. I decided to strap my boots on and, remain relevant and work in what is one of the, toughest marketplaces in the world in property management, and learn more about the business and service side of, property management. And just as we were wrapping all of that up, COVID hit. So we escaped from California just before all the, planes closed down. And here I am back in Brisbane, and we've been working really hard. We've got a global task force that we've put together now to look at what property management looks like after COVID. So very, very much still focused on the business of property management.
Yeah, it's so interesting. We've been doing a lot of shows about, post-COVID, and, full marks to you, Jo, and also to Stephen. We'll introduce it in a moment. But the program you've come up with is so typical of what needs to happen right now. So let's move straight into that. Stephen, can you just explain to me how you and Jo got together and what it is you've created?
Yep, so me and Jo got together, back in 2012 when I had no idea about what I was doing with my property management business, and stumbled across Jo, and she came in and helped out with systems and all of these with the Ireviloution system, and we've sort of stayed in touch since then. And then I started the offshore business and we were talking about it, but Jo's always been quite reserved, had some reservations about hiring a VA, and a lot of those reservations around how we've now come up with the product, which makes it a hell of a lot easier to install someone instantly. So what we've done is combined our two brains with my offshore knowledge and systems and process and how to run staff offshore, and then Jo's relevance in the property management space. So Jo, do you want to talk about what we're doing with these purple powered VAs they are?
Yes, absolutely, Stephen. And might I say that, Stephen was very persistent for 2 years because he wasn't happy that I was, so reserved about, VAs and everything. And good on Stephen for listening and thinking about what we needed to do. And, as Stephen said, we came up together with a plan that is a solution, because I believe that, VAs are, wonderful, concept, but they just weren't working. And we looked at, the reasons for it not working. And the main reasons were, one, training. They weren't trained, and I'm not talking about having, the requirements to hold a license in real estate, just the background, knowing the why everything is done and how it's done. And also, two, there was no proper system to share tasks. So if you're going to be sharing tasks with someone who's located, halfway around the world from where your office is, there needs to be a system in place. So Stephen and I set about, developing what we needed to do to put in place. And now what we do is we select the VAs who may or may not have some experience working as a VA in property management. We put them through 28 courses of online training, and we can measure through their assessments that they do, their competence and understanding of every task that is expected of them. But that's just a small part of, what we're doing, the training. So once we know that they are actually competent to work as a VA, we then, talk about the systems that they should expect to use. But then, of course, there's the other side to that, and that's the companies that they're working with, having those systems in place too. So we help the companies to understand the best sort of systems that they need to ensure that there is what we call a team-to-task workflow process there.
It's and a lot of the work Kev's done on the client side, it's somewhat like herding cats, trying to get them to pick the right things and just stick to the one thing instead of going, I've got this VA now, I've hired them for property management, and then they go, can you do a Form 6 for sales? Makes no sense. So if you're hiring one of our purple-powered VAs, they will do exactly what it says they do. So we've got a document they come with. This is what they can learn. This is what they do. This is what they're competent at. And you don't get to choose anything else off that list. But it's a full shopping list, basically, of everything a VA should be doing.
Yeah, it absolutely is, because, that's another area where we found that, people would hire VAs and it was almost like a Band-Aid fix for a problem of, not getting work done. The property manager, always saying that they didn't have enough time to do the jobs. But when we analyse it, around 60% on average, so between 50 and 60% of a work load of a property manager is admin. So admin can be done by a support staff, and that support staff can be offshore, which is where the VAs come in. But without knowing what they want the VA to do, then it's like just, throwing them out there and saying, well, we'll just give you tasks that, the property manager is struggling with. There needs to be a system and a process to it. And we've developed that, as Stephen called it, the task shopping list. And then, following that, once we know what they want the VA to focus on, we can also help with the selection of the right VA for them as well.
Okay, so just so I can get this, guys, the starting point is for someone to identify what it is they need. Then you'll help them find the person who's fully trained. Is that pretty much the bottom line?
So they will identify the need is that they need support, and they want to lower overheads, and then where they find it. In our other Offshore 101 shows, we've talked about task selection and how to choose. We take that off the table because some of the things that they choose are just not relevant and not things they should be choosing a VA to do. So we give them the list, we train the VA on them. They do 2 courses. They do our Shore Agents Basics 101 Property Management. That dovetails into the purple powered VA. Then they're like next level, a higher level than what you'd get training in Australia before you start property management. And then Jo interviews them. She makes sure that they cut the mustard, and then the guys will get to choose. So you just go, yep, I'll have this one.
So Stephen, it's a very comprehensive service that you're offering. Can we go to the bottom line? What's the cost?
Yeah. So the other thing, with this, if we've made the cost lower than what a lot of other providers are actually charging for untrained. So it's $2,049 a month. That's a full month's work, 40-hour work weeks, fully trained VA. We absorb the costs of the training when they're sitting there. We pay all the wages while they're going through the course. And then there's just an upfront fee of $1,497. And that's just a one-off payment. Then from there, it's just, monthly, $2,047 a month on a recurring basis.
Is there a trial period at all if I'm not happy with the person we've selected or there's some problems?
We replace them, so we've got a guarantee. If they don't fit, we replace them for free. Yeah, that rhymes too. That's good.
Yeah, well, that's very good. Okay, guys, any last points? I mean, where do I go from here to find out more and ask any questions?
Yeah, so purplepoweredva.com. Nico, if you want to bring that up down the bottom here. So head over there, have a look at the site, check it out. If you want to get involved, there's a contact us in the top corner. Send us a message through. Next week, we're going to break down the task allocation, and we're going to have a special offer for you guys that come back and watch next week's show.
Very good. So that's it. We'll wrap from there. Hey, Joe, I want to say thank you very much. Congratulations on what you're doing with Stephen. I know it's going to be a huge success because everything you touch, apart from turning purple, also turns very successful. So thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you, Kevin. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Good on you, Stephen. Look forward to seeing you when you're back in the chair running the next show.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to getting back to my green room, which hopefully we've got 2 more weeks of this COVID, hopefully, and I'll be back.